Yes, man. We got my boy Quan all the way from VA.
You
You know what
feel
I'm
me? The team is
saying?
back together.
Yeah, man. You know how we do, man. We all stay working. We all stay motivated. Keep each other motivated. I think that's the big
Facts.
picture. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, you can be doing two, three different things within the team, but as long as everybody keep each other motivated, I think that's the big picture, man. You know what I
That's a
mean?
fact.
Like, everybody got their families or they got their goals and aspirations and things of that nature that they want to accomplish. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's never good to have all your eggs in one basket, man. You know what I mean? Always, be in a mind space of being able to expand your brand, meaning yourself. You understand what I'm saying? Anything
Mm-hmm.
outside of that, you know what I'm saying? You do what you can. And,
That's a
and it's a
fact.
blessing, you know what I mean? So I think that's a really important thing, man. I want to congratulate all the people that anybody in your family that graduated. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean, from whether it's high school, college, kindergarten.
And I'm
You
gonna
know
give
what I'm
you your
saying?
congratulations as well. You feel me? Getting your diploma. You feel me? You
Yeah,
outside, Mr. Media and Communications. You
yeah,
feel me?
yo, man, I had to make it official, man. I had to make it
Facts.
official. You know what I mean? Like, I would have conversations with my brother. He has his degree in media also. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, sometimes, when we talk about media or we talk about, just doing things, when it comes to like, just yeah, like I said, media in general.
Yeah.
Like it's always, he always says, what he did his last couple of semesters. Oh yes, his birthday today too. 50th
Oh,
birthday. So
shout him out.
yeah. So happy birthday to my brother Jerome. But yeah, he will always kind of like just mention about how he has his media degree and how much it helped him,
Mm-hmm.
to analyze different things, within whether it's music or movies or just creating advertisement plans or campaigns or something things of that nature. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So it's like, and it looks good, when you um applying for a job or if you want a
Yeah.
job that requires I tell people there's a lot of jobs out there that require you a minimum just to have a bachelor's degree.
Yup.
You understand what I'm saying? And then like anything outside of that is like your work experience and you just selling yourself, for the position, or you just
Mm-hmm.
letting them know how um how great you can do the job. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, so shout out to everybody that's coming into the chat.
To
Um
shout you guys out. Because I'm
yeah,
about to
yeah,
say
my
that's
bad,
like
man.
because when I think
Yeah.
about that, it's like that's something that I'm thinking about going back to school for, going to get the media and
Mm-hmm.
communications degree. Because
Mm-hmm.
certain jobs I looked into, like for example, to be a part of the writing team for the WWE, they look for you to have that media and communication degree. They look for you to have
Mm-hmm.
at least 5 years of, experience working
Experience.
on some type of set or whatever the case may be.
Mm-hmm.
And of
Yeah.
course, like we get a little bit of that every day, and we
Mm-hmm.
continue to go and go. Especially when we doing the pod, we in the studio. I can
Yeah.
add that to my resume over time, and
Mm-hmm.
then when I go back to school, that's going to be the catalyst right there. So
Mm-hmm.
you look at things like that, and it is very important to want to always go back to school because learning is everything,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
especially in the business that we in, when every day is always something new coming out, there's always something new to learn. You're gonna
Mm-hmm.
always want to be up on it. You feel me? So
Mm-hmm.
that's
Yeah.
motivation right there, no doubt.
Yeah. One thing I learned this semester in my advertising course is the
Hmm.
power of emotional selling. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like there's so many people out there, like you don't have to really sell a product if people can connect to it emotionally.
exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? So it's like you want to be able to create a product where people can relate to it, where they might be able to connect to it in some shape, form, or fashion. You
Hmm.
know, which is more or less like a storytelling ad. You know, so a lot of
Absolutely.
people, you know what I'm saying, like when they are trying to sell a product, they add a story to the actual campaign or to the
Hmm.
commercial or whatever, and that people are automatically able to connect to it. You know what I mean? So that's definitely the power of advertisement and be able to, and of course I'm going to add some storytelling to my watermelon juices
Hmm.
that I'm about to,
Exactly.
yeah.
Because
I'm
you
definitely gonna,
another summer in, you feel me? Now
yeah.
that now with that, you feel me? You get to talk
Hmm.
about different things like, yeah, like I just got my degree or whatever the case may be.
Hmm.
You put a little story to it, you explain, yo,
Hmm.
why you wanted to do it. But like, I remember growing up, like you can even paraphrase, throw some like, I remember growing up and grandma used to make this juice for me, and it was my
Mm-hmm.
favorite juice. Out of all the juices that she made, it was always the watermelon juice over all of them, even over her lemonade. And people would be like,
Exactly.
"Word," and then they'd taste it like, "Damn, this shit good." Like that, they'd be like, "Let me get 3 of
Mm-hmm.
them."
Yeah.
Like, but at the end of the day, if you ever look at like your favorite restaurant or your favorite business, like Disney, like when you look at their on their website and you see what they don't
Mm-hmm.
sell a product. They
Mm-hmm.
sell an
A story.
experience. Exactly.
Experience.
They selling
Mm-hmm.
magic. They selling this.
Mm-hmm.
Like Great Adventures is selling thrills. They're not selling rides. You know what I mean? Like it's
Mm-hmm.
always going to be something more than what the eye beholds.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beauty of marketing at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sure, you can tip me $100, Ty. Sure. If you want the Cash App, just matter of fact, I'm gonna put the Cash App in the comments. Listen, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification button.
We appreciate all the
Um,
love. I'm seeing that in the corner. You feel me? Like that's much
yeah,
appreciated.
yeah,
Feels good to
yeah,
be
yeah.
back.
All the time, all the time. Let me give these people, put it in the joint right now. So if people want to do that, they can. Yes, I'm gonna put it in there right now. Okay, I
It's
got you.
definitely being like in a new state. You feel me? Like you're learning new things. You gotta learn new laws, learning new
Hmm.
people, learning where to go, where not to go. So it's like it's all an uphill battle. So that's mainly why I haven't really been doing too much of anything. I was been doing like
Hmm.
my pods because it's the playoffs. So I've been like continuing to do my pods here and there, especially haven't done any lately because of the fact that I've been working both jobs. So I
Yeah,
ain't really
man.
had the time for real, but feel me, still trying to keep up with it and just put myself on that schedule.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's been interesting to say the least.
Hmm. Yeah, listen, man. It's all love, man. Let me see something. Let me see. Ask your friend if you would also. These people. Listen, man. I'm putting it in the thing right now. Okay, and I'm gonna pin it. I'm gonna pin it. Okay.
I'm
So
never
feel
against
free.
$100.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, right? Feel free if you want to send a cash app. Listen, I will be starting the podcast at a my new location starting the middle of July in the
Hmm.
Bronx. Shout out to my guy Dave from Put Me On Inc. Started back with him back in 2015. So we will be at a new pod location in the Bronx. The setup is fire. Um, Sometimes we'll be doing YouTube lives there, but for the most part, you'll be getting edited interviews. You'll be getting edited content, okay, which
Absolutely.
is a good thing. Which is a good thing, okay. So you'll be getting more professional content, interviews, conversations, the whole 9 yards. I can't wait for the different people that I'm gonna have on the platform. It's gonna be super dope. If you haven't seen some of my past content from the interviews I've had, they're very organic. They're grass rooted. The people that I have on there, the conversations are super dope. Unlike anything else that you see on these YouTube platforms. I promise you. Go back and see some of the older content I have, and you'll be getting that same level of content, but moreover, it's gonna be on a higher level,
Hmm.
meaning where this is brand new. This is uh, uh modern day age technology, content, conversations. You understand what I'm saying? So I want you guys to look forward to that. It's gonna be super, super, super dope. All right. So the other day, right, we had a let me see. I put something up on Instagram, and it's a brother that I follow, Esso. Shout out to Esso.
Shout out
Queens
to Esso. That's
Queen,
my guy.
Queens get the money. He was definitely on the platform a few times. Well, one time. But I posted his content a few times or what have you. And this I'm going to just post a clip of what he said on the podcast Bag Fuel. All right, and we're gonna dive into that. Okay, well, he's going. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, well, he's going. It's way iller than Jay-Z Box. The Dame Dash Jay-Z project, the Dame Dash Jay-Z project is the fire, nigga. After Dame was gone, everything was okay. That's facts, nigga. And niggas ain't gonna say it. So what's the point gonna say it? But you good. You should have the screens with me. That's a hard one. You know what? Yeah.
But yeah, that was now. Don't get me wrong. You feel me? Like, and it's funny because like when I spoke with, because I'm in a. It's funny enough. I'm in a group of Jay Z fans, and I had spoke to them about that specific, like this specific comment about like what we was talking about when it came to like 444 and American Gangster, which is two of like Jay Z's better albums in the second half of his career. And of course, like you disagree that that those are classics. I say that they are, and majority of them were like, nah, that's crazy. Like those are class. Well, mainly 444. They was like those are classics. That's a classic. Um, and they was asking like, what made him say that? And I joked around. I was like, he's from Harlem. Feel me? It's a Harlem versus Brooklyn type of thing. You feel me? It's a boroughs thing, and that's always been a joke when it comes to New York. It's always been like a borough versus borough thing, and y'all real dedicated to y'all boroughs, and that's always been y'all thing. Feel me? But I'm gonna be honest, like there's a lot of truth to that. Like the Dame and Jay project was fire. It was no misses. When we talking about from Reasonable Doubt to Black Album, realistically, there ain't no misses in that. It really ain't no misses for real. It's probably like one, maybe one, and that's like the Blueprint 2. That's like the weakest out of all of that. But outside of that, you're talking about a 6 or 7 year run where Jay is putting out the hottest album or the second or third hottest album every summer. And that does come to the creativity of Damien Dash and the expertise and the excellence of Jay-Z and just the family build that Rockefeller had at that time.
So the last album that Dame Dash worked on with Jay-Z was the Black Album.
Yeah.
Right? After the Black Album, you had Kingdom Come, American Gangster.
Blueprint 3.
We're not even gonna include Unfinished Business with R. Kelly and Jay.
Yeah, I might say because we ain't including Best
I,
of
I, I
Both
think
Worlds either.
I think he even regrets that. Kingdom Come, American Gangster, Blueprint 3, Watch the Throne, 444, Magna.
And Magna Carta, yep. And
Yeah.
then Everything
So
Is Love with
I think
Beyonce.
I think the argument that Esso is saying is that Jay did his best work while working with Dame Dash.
And I don't really feel like nobody would disagree with that.
You know?
But I would also say that Jay still had classic projects underneath the Rock Nation banner.
Okay.
I ain't even think about Watch the Throne. Like that's another classic. That's one of the top duo projects of all time. You feel me? Like I don't think it's the best because you feel me. You got like the see. I see in hip hop a lot of times they count the projects where it's a artist and a producer. So you'll have like Mad Villainy, which is considered a collab project. You have like the Benny the Butcher and Harry Fraud projects, which would be considered a combined project because of the fact that it's an artist and a producer of a stature like a Harry Fraud or like an Alchemist. So those usually count as duos. So like, but Watch the Throne was like bridging the gap for generations because Jay was the generation before and Ye was the generation of at that point, and they were bridging that together, bringing those fan bases together, and it took Kanye to a whole nother level because some people would even say that Kanye was going bar for bar with Jay-Z in that joint, and for Kanye West to even be able to do that just showed you how powerful that album was, how powerful their relationship was at that time for Jay to even let Kanye, his little brother, even have a chance to do something like that with him. You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
So I felt like where he was going with it was true, but it still felt a little disingenuous because it's like he's trying to make it seem like Jay ain't have no fire in the second half, and I feel like that's false. You feel me? Like Blueprint 3 isn't a classic, but that was another one where he's bridging the gap. He bringing the new generation in, like Kid Cudi and Drake and J Cole into the fray. Like those are like the first time some of us heard those guys, especially for me. Like at that time, I'm like 9 years old. So that's the first time I'm hearing whoever Drake is and J. Cole, who end up being artists that I'm listening to this day and are considered two of the big three. You get what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, to
Mm-hmm.
compare that to what Wayne is doing right now, like what Jay was out there doing at that time, he was trying to bring in the next generation. You get what I mean? Like, he was trying to showcase that generation and showcasing like how he can not try to compete with those guys, but big them up, bring them up with him, put them on
Mm-hmm.
that stature. And when he was able to do that, that's what gave those guys the like the status that they have today because they was able to say, "Oh yeah, my first year I was working with Jay." You feel me? I
Mm-hmm.
got that Jay. I was on a Jay Z album in my first year being a rapper, a mainstream rapper. So like that goes a
Mm-hmm.
long way. So what Jay was doing at that time was more so trying to big up the next generation. Because at that time you got him pushing Ye, you got him pushing Rihanna, you got him pushing Cole, who all put out classic projects. So at that time,
Mm-hmm.
even though he's still dropping music, he's more so worried about putting on the next generation. And then on
Yeah.
top of that, his feature run after under the Rock Nation banner is one of the best of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah, he became more corporate
Mm-hmm.
after, he stepped away from the Rockefeller family,
True, true.
as far as being a actual artist is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And I think whenever anybody makes a transition like that, especially an artist, sometimes you'll see it's like Rihanna.
Yep.
She's no longer like the singer or the performer. She's focused more on her Fenty brand
Exactly.
and becoming a billionaire. And
Mm-hmm. And
it
raising a
doesn't take,
family. Yep.
yeah, raising a family, Jay-Z raising a family,
Yep.
right? Even Dame Dash states it. He's been spending a lot of time, with his family from
Yep.
being a record executive.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I think when you come for, or when you're like vested in a family, when you start to build your own family, you take that real serious.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like that whole Rockefeller family thing they was doing in the beginning. Now you got your own kids, you're married. Now it's like, yo, now we doing this for real. So you can't travel the world,
As much,
tour,
yeah.
tour
Exactly. Like,
bus, and all. You can't do all of that and still be there for the football games, for the after school parent teacher meetings. You can't do all of
correct.
that if you're constantly on the road and touring and stuff like that. So I get why Rihanna doesn't perform or drop albums like she wants to.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? I see why there could be a number of reasons why Jay-Z took a step back from working with
Correct.
them.
And
He probably,
and I
yeah.
feel like majority of it is because he wanted the focus to be on his wife, who was still very much
Mhm.
in the prime of her career when when Jay started to like slow it down a little bit.
Yeah.
He wanted to put more of the focus in on her career and helping her become the artist that she is today. Because
Yeah, and it's not wrong with that. Yeah, it's
and
not wrong. Like, yeah.
and by the way, shout out Jay because when they was in Jersey at the Cowboy Carter tour, he had all his siblings back there. And for me, being a Jay fan and hearing all the stories about his siblings, that's the first time I've ever seen Jay with all his siblings in the same
Wow.
place. So that was real powerful. That's real dope. And shout out to the
Wow.
Carters for doing
So
that.
that was a real picture then, man. I didn't even know if,
Hmm.
and when I first saw that picture, I thought it was like, I didn't believe it,
Yeah,
because
right.
you never really see them in the light, his sisters and his brother, you know. So wow, it's good to see Jay, with his sisters, his brother, and I'm looking to see the resemblance and all other kind of stuff.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? See how his brother dresses or his sister dresses.
Mm-hmm.
But that's super dope, yo.
Facts.
Like that's super dope to be able to like build like this empire, and you got your kids, you got your wife, and then you got your
Mm-hmm.
sisters and your brother. You know what I mean? There to support you. Your mom's there to support you.
Yup.
You know what I mean?
Got her
As like,
mom's there to support you. You feel me?
yeah,
Like
you got her
you got
mom's there.
the whole
Even
tribe
Matthew.
is there.
Yeah, even Matthew Knowles, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he has like so much experience in the music industry, being an executive at Sony,
Mm-hmm.
so that's a big accomplishment to be able to get to that level and have your family there with you backstage and y'all just rocking out,
Right.
and
Just to be able to.
I think this is real big too for Beyonce because she had so much doubt with the whole Cowboy Carter thing. Like she got a
Yeah.
lot of doubt and a lot of flack, from dropping that project. And people thought she wasn't going to be successful with it, you
And for her
know?
to finally get, even though I
Yeah.
don't agree with it, because I felt like Renaissance should have been the first Beyonce album to get album of
Hmm.
the year, but for
Hmm.
her to be able to finally get that album of the year at the Grammys, which has been like the only award that she has not been able to grab, being one of
Hmm.
the artists that she is and having the most Grammy nominations to her name, for her to
Hmm.
finally get that off of that, even though I don't agree with it, it's still amazing to finally see that happen. And you can see the
Hmm.
shock on her face. She's like, damn, I wasn't expecting that. Because nobody was
Hmm.
expecting that. So
Yeah.
for her to finally
Yeah.
get that respect is it's everything. You feel me? And
It's
that's
major,
all
man.
the artists that's all artists really be wanting for real. Like it don't matter how
Hmm.
successful they are, they want what they want. And that's what she wanted. And she finally got that. So shout
Yeah.
out to
Yeah.
Beyonce on that part.
And I think it's okay. It's okay for Jay-Z's best music to have been done in his early
Correct.
part of his career. Like that happens. NBA players, their best years are in their first to 5,
Six seasons.
fifth
Yeah.
year, their first 5 seasons, or
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case is. Um, I mean, so it's okay when people make these statements. I think for the people that don't, because all right, the reason why it's a Harlem and Brooklyn thing is because Jay is from Brooklyn,
Mm-hmm.
Dame is from Harlem, right?
Yup.
So it automatically becomes like this Brooklyn and Harlem thing, right?
Correct.
Sometimes people from Brooklyn don't want to support that situation, with Dame and what. But see, the thing is like I feel that they fail to realize this is not a Brooklyn or Harlem thing. This
Correct.
is about being able to recognize, yes, it's true. Jay Z's first music, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know
But
what I'm
his best
saying?
work was
His best
at the
work was in
beginning.
his first 5 albums.
Correct.
You understand what I'm saying? And I
And
think
that's
people,
usually what it's gonna be for most artists. But you feel me? For
yeah.
for us to even be having that conversation just shows you how much longevity his career has and how many great albums he has to his name. Because
Mhm.
not a lot of guys could really even say that they have another 5 albums after the first 5 that could even be considered on the
Okay.
par. You get what I mean?
And I don't like how some people say they discredit Dame's position while he was a part of the staff of the
Exactly.
Rockefeller staff.
Because
Like they
that's
say,
that's
oh, he didn't pick beats, he didn't do this. He did a lot of work
about to
behind the
say like
scenes, bro.
he's the guy that gave them the image that pushed them to even do. He's the guy that pushed Jay to even do
Mhm.
another project because Jay always
Yeah,
wanted to retire after the first project. He
yeah.
wanted to be one and done and go to being the Jay Z that we know today. But Dame helps him understand you won't be the Jay Z that you are today if you just one and done it. Because
Yeah.
like everybody knows, Reasonable Doubt didn't do no crazy numbers when it first
Mhm.
dropped.
Nah, I
It was
did.
later on when he was already established where motherfuckers went back and was like, let me see what this first album was talking about. And it had
Hmm.
that cult following. Like
Hmm.
that's what changed the narrative. That's when these people started going back and was like, oh now Reasonable Doubt might just be
Official.
Jay-Z's best project or his second best project. Like most real Jay Z fans would say, Reasonable Doubt's the best Jay Z that you got because it was so
Ever,
raw.
ever.
And and with that being said, like that would mean that he plateaued afterwards. But due to the fact that it's Jay Z and he just kept getting more and more successful, and then you got the volume 2 that goes 7 times platinum. At that point, you just looking at it like, yeah, it's all about success after that. But the best rap is when he was
I want to
looking
ask
like
my.
that.
I got a question for you. Do
Hmm.
you think Jay Z's first 5 albums would have been that successful without A Dame Dash?
Because while Jay was doing the art, Dame was in the streets with either if it was either guerrilla marketing or word of mouth going to the radio, letting people know about it, putting out the advertisement, just being Dame Dash and knowing that and knowing the people in the streets the way he did and building it up. I don't believe that it could have been as successful as it was because at the end of the day, they a team. You feel me? You can't do it by yourself.
Hmm. Yeah, you're right. I'm glad you hit so many points. The guerrilla marketing, the radio promotions, like Jay Z. I mean, Dame Dash was able to train the Shaka Pilgrims, or not. I don't want to say train them, but he was
Hmm.
able to direct the Shaka Pilgrims, the Emmanuel Lewises, the Lenny S's, all of these different people that are this young lady's name. I think her name is Shakir. Sherry Bryant, who was a the president of Rockefeller of
Mm.
Rock Nation for a
Hmm.
minute. You understand what I'm saying? So Dane was
Yeah.
able to direct these people early in the game. And I think that's what he's so emotional about. It's because he's been blackballed for so long that people do not recognize how much of a role he's played
Hmm.
when being CEO of Rockefeller Records. You understand
Correct.
what I'm saying? So yeah, it is true. Like he would not, there would not, Jay-Z's music would not be as successful. Those first 5 albums would not be be successful if A Dame Dash wasn't there. People say, oh, he was dancing on the stage. Um, you know, he was he what did he call it? He was a hype dancer or a hype man. Listen,
Yeah.
Puff Daddy was
Yeah. The
Biggie
hype man.
Smalls
Yeah.
hype. Puff Daddy was Biggie Smalls hype man. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like, and we all know Jay-Z was like, I'm not gonna say a little brother to Big, but
Because
Jay-Z
he was a
and
little because he was a little bit older. Yeah. Like
yeah,
they ran in the same circles. Like they came
yeah,
up together. You feel me? Them,
yeah,
Busta Rhymes, to an extent DMX because he was out in Yonkers, but like they all came up in the same circles. You
yeah.
know?
But I feel like Biggie was a mentor to Jay-Z.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm
In the
saying?
game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Absolutely.
so Jay-Z saw that Biggie had a hype man. He had somebody on the stage to kind of hype the crowd up, somebody to,
Hmm.
something to take the attention off of him,
Correct.
per se. So
And that's where
Biggie
Miss
had
Blue comes in. You feel
who
me? Like
Memphis Bleak was
you
his,
feel me?
but see, you had Puff Daddy and you
Yup.
also had Little C's.
Yup.
You
You feel
understand what
me?
I'm
You
saying?
got you it's a group thing. You feel me? And that's how it's always going. That's how it's most of the time gonna be. You feel me? Like
Listen.
even like with a newer example, you have Playboy Cardi, and then with him you got Swamp Izzo, his DJ, who's getting the crowd hype, who's getting the tracks hype.
Mm-hmm.
That's his guy. That's the cream to his crop. You feel me? Without without him, he's just an artist. You feel me? And
Mm-hmm.
it's not the same. It's not the same hype on it. Like they are a team. You feel me? And that's how it's supposed to be in hip hop. You feel me? It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna always be a team. It's not gonna just be solo dolo. Everybody can't do what Kendrick is doing or what Drake is doing, and it just be by themselves. You gotta have somebody else out there with them. Feel me? Like
Nobody
the
had a problem. Nobody had a problem with Dame Dash when Jay-Z, when he was on the stage with Jay-Z and they was doing Give It to Me and they was
mm-hmm,
doing Hard Knock Life and they was
mm-hmm.
doing H to the Izzo. Everybody was doing this, right?
Yup.
Everybody was
Exactly. That's Dame shit right there.
that's Dame shit. You understand what I'm saying? So
That's a
nobody
fact.
had a problem with it. Nobody was like, oh, what's this guy doing up here? Nah, everybody wanted to get up there, you know what I'm saying, and be a
Mm-hmm.
part. It was a movement. I think that's what people feel. Like Dame it was a movement that made Rockefeller what it was. It just wasn't the artistry.
Exactly.
You understand what I'm saying? It was the
Mm-hmm.
brotherhood, the sisterhood of Rockefeller that made people want to be attracted to
And want
Jay-Z's
to be a
music
part of it. Yeah, like
and want to
that
be a
movement
part of it.
was
You know
different.
what I'm
And
saying? When
I
Dame
was
Dash,
and I was like
when
4 or 5 years old at that time, and I wanted to be a
they,
part of it. Nigga, I'm looking at that and I'm like, those niggas is
yeah.
cool.
And you know
I want to
why?
be like those
Because Jay-Z, he had his nephews in his
facts.
videos. He had, the anything video, the hard night,
Mm-hmm.
like all these he had, he's on the bench talking to the kids, talking to the youngsters. You understand what I'm saying? Dame Dash had his kids in the videos. So it made it was marketable to 5-year-olds, to 6-year-olds, to 8-year-olds, or what have you. You know what I mean? So it's like at the end of the day, it was a brotherhood, man.
Exactly. And it took the world
A
by
brotherhood.
storm. It took the
And that's
world by
that's
storm.
why
That's a
that's why
fact.
it's so emotional. This story is so emotional, and people are gonna be talking about this story for years to come.
Uh-huh.
Until Jay-Z and Dame Dash are able to sit down on some type of platform and have a
Mm-hmm.
conversation. This will be a conversation that will not end.
It would be dope if we could finally get a sit down, like, because we haven't had a sit down interview with Jay since probably Magna Carta Day, like 2013. I'm thinking like,
No,
oh wait, I'm bugging. He did have one in like 2016, like when the dreads was just
nah. He
growing.
also no. He had an interview with about a year ago when he did the thing at the museum.
You're right. You're right.
I think Gail. I think
Yeah,
Gail did the
but
interview.
that don't count that. Like that's that's
Man, that
that's
was
cookie.
that
Like to
was
me, that's like cookie cutter. Like I need a real sit down interview, like a drink champ style interview or a
oh
Breakfast Club
yeah,
style
yeah, yeah.
interview.
Okay, okay,
Like
okay,
like a
okay.
real like a real like not a
A
controlled
a
interview.
podcast.
Yeah, like we need
A
like a
podcast.
real we need like a real sit down with Jay. I don't know if we'll get Dame in the room, but even if it's just Jay and Memphis and maybe even Beans and Free, like if we could get something like that, that would be
Mhm.
really dope for them to like all like
Teddy, what's good, Teddy? What's
talk
shaking?
about those days and reconcile on whatever happened or whatever the case may be. Like that would be
Mhm.
dope to me. I would
Yeah,
love to see
yeah,
something like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I think the people need that. I think the culture needs that.
Yeah.
In order to move
Especially
on.
due to the fact that we know Jay ain't probably gonna drop no other project. No, I mean
Hmm.
maybe possibly, but we know he ain't dropping no project no time soon, bro. Like,
Yeah.
and it's
The
not
whole
that
thing with
he don't
the
need to
whole
for real.
thing the whole thing with Jay is that he feels like um there's nothing there's not I don't want to say it's not much he can offer, but he wants to feel like he's talking about something new,
Yeah,
if
and
that
I
makes sense.
respect that. I can respect that because most rappers need to look at that, and I feel like with that being said, I feel like it's the perfect way to segue into what the fuck is Lil Wayne doing on the Carter Six, bro? Because
Yeah.
I'm not feeling it. I can't. I wanted to hope that the shit was fire, but it
Hmm.
ain't fire. That shit ain't even got a full mic. That shit half of one, bro. Because
Wow.
it's that bad. It's because like you're hearing a guy that at one time was being looked at as the next guy. Jay
Hmm.
Z co-signing. This is the best rapper alive in
Mm.
2008 to 2015 easily.
Hmm.
And this man is like he's tone deaf. He's not trying to come up with something new. He's not trying to put no new sounds out. It's like he's trying to rehash old stuff. And it's like, bro, like we already chastised Eminem for trying to stay in the old times where Eminem had to
Yeah.
redeem himself with his next project. And to an extent he did. but it still ain't hitting like it should be. But this is like how it was when M dropped Revival. It was like, bro, it's like, does he not understand what the game is today, bro? You was just complaining about not doing the Super Bowl. You were just complaining about Kendrick after Kendrick has done wonders to what the rap game needed, and you give us this where you only giving me 2 out of 19 tracks for real, and like 2 out of 19 is ridiculous. And shout out to Big X the Plug on the hip hop track, killed it. And that's one of my guys right now, like one of the new guys in the generation that's really putting in that work. Big X the
Mm-hmm.
Plug, G Herbo, Playboy Card, like those are the guys that are in the generation right now that's doing a thing. Even Rob 49, he got the What the Hell He track, which is going crazy because the Pacers is 3 games away from winning their first championship. So you have guys that are of this generation that Wayne could have worked with and possibly got some good features, but instead he want to put Jelly Roll on there and put Big Sean on there and Kodak Black and MGK and that shit. Like that's not what nobody want to hear right now, bro. Especially not
Yeah.
Kodak Black, bro. Kodak Black is looking bad right now, bro. Like that's my guy and all, but that's not what we want to hear right now. And we damn sure don't
Mm-hmm.
want to hear no MGK on a Lil Wayne album, bro. Like that's
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Like if you wasn't getting him on your tracks in 2012 when he was hot, why are you trying to do it now, bro? Because you trying to appease to the rock crowd. Like, hold on real quick, because I had a comment that I had seen under one of my people's posts because he was like, I'm afraid to listen to the Wayne album. And then one of the
Mm-hmm.
comments was talking about what he how he felt about the track list and how he said that, oh, it's to an extent it's like so he said, and I quote, if you're a tried and true Wayne fan, you'll like it. You can hear how in this album he goes through all his old selves. He's got a track that hits like the OG Carter one, then banned from New Orleans Nas to No Ceilings. Wayne, then he got some of his rock songs, which is a nod to I Am Not a Human Being and Rebirth. It's actually really sick to hear the progression. Yes, there are some skips, but overall I really enjoy it. And I ain't gonna lie, I feel like my man Jeffrey is lying to himself because I could see where Wayne was trying to go with it. I'm hearing that in the different tracks, everything's a little bit of all his old work. You got like some rebirth style tracks, you got some OG Carter tracks, but it's not hitting because Wayne isn't doing what Wayne's supposed to do. When we were listening to Rebirth and I Am Not a Human Being and people were complaining about it being a rap style album, what we always was able to hang our hat on is at least Wayne rapping his ass off. At least the bars is hitting. At least there's some type of reasonable content that we can go back to. There's nothing there, bro. Wayne is just yapping about nothing for an hour and 19 minutes, and it's like, bro, like it's an
Oh
hour that
man.
you ain't gonna get back because it's like it's just not hitting.
So is he talking about? Did he pull a 444 or he just pulled a YN move?
He pulled the I ain't even gonna say it's a YN. He pulled a watch goat move. Like I'm trying to stick to what I know, even though that ain't what's gonna work no more. Like we heard the Carter Five, and even then that's watch Wayne in itself, but at least it had some type of soul to it. You had a hit like like Uproar. You had deep cuts like Let It All Work Out. You got songs that feel like old school Wayne, like the song with Manny Fresh and Ashanti. Start this thing off right. I think that's what it's called. Like it's you have moments where you're still hearing old Wayne, even though of course that some of them songs are 5 years at this point. It's like 10, 12 years old at that point. There's still elements of what Wayne was in those tracks. There's still real soul to it. This album feels soulless and it feels like he's trolling. It feels like he's not really taking it serious.
Mm.
And there's no reliable features. Like you got 2 Chainz on a track where 2 Chainz feels out of place. You know, like all the different artists that he's been working with. Like, where's the Benny the Butcher feature? Like where's the little Uzi feature? Like different guy that you've been working with in the
What
last
about
couple of
even
years.
Corey Guns
Yeah, like you don't even got like no Young Money artists. Like you couldn't get a Drake feature, bro. Like you couldn't get
or
a Tiger
Nicki
feature, a
or
Nicki.
Nicki feature?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I remember people were saying, "Oh, there might be a Nicki Minaj feature." Well, I don't hear one, and he drastically needs one, bro.
He said, well, I don't hear one.
Like he drastically needs like some type of like that. Like if
He
Wayne
said,
gonna
well,
redeem himself, it's gonna have to
yeah.
be like on some type of Young Money reunion project, like where he getting carried by Drake and Nicki or something. Because
But I
it
don't get
ain't
it.
this.
Like when he was going back and forth with when they with the whole not performing at the it was the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Like Nicki Minaj, she supported him. You know, she went in a whole rant.
yeah.
I think Drake support a lot of people
I'm
supported
gonna
him,
say, you know, Drake
and I
supported them.
think
They went.
all
He was supporting them before they even started this whole debacle, going back
but
and forth with Kendrick. So it was like
yeah,
it's just it's I don't know, bro. It's like he lost himself. I
yeah,
don't know, bro. Too many drugs or something. Maybe you need to get
yeah,
Birdman back in the studio with you or something. I don't know. I
yeah.
know he got Manny Fresh on one track, but Manny Fresh ain't a rapper, so
Hmm.
it ain't only but so much. Bro, BG
I wonder
free,
if
bro.
he's
Why
still
you ain't
working
get
with
BG on there? I just thought
I
about
wonder if
that.
he's still working with Mac Main. That's his name.
Yeah,
Because I know he was president of. I feel like he was president of Young Money.
he was at one time. Yup.
He was right.
Hmm. That's what I'm saying. Like it's
Mm.
like, bro, it's like where is it's a terrible list of features in my opinion. Like real life, Big X the Plug, the only one that really came to work for real. Like
Hmm.
it ain't hitting at all, bro. Like it
Hmm.
it's depressing to hear that because it's like this is Little Wayne we talking about. This
Yeah.
is one of the greatest rappers of all time, and it's like we know that it's possible for a rapper of your caliber to still be rapping. Like it's given like how Ice Cube was in 2006, 2007. Like it's nowhere near close to the quality of what it used to be. Like, you got Nas out here still putting out quality records. You still got
Quality.
Jadakiss out here putting out quality records.
Quality.
We just heard if you didn't hear it, but Ace Trumpets just dropped with
Hmm.
Pusha T and No Malice. These niggas rapping like it's '03 again. Like
Yo, you heard that
it's
song?
hell yeah, like that's real hip hop, and it's like
That joint was
there's
fire.
no excuses anymore. Like I don't care how old you are, you can still figure out a way to talk about what you want to talk about, and it still be relevant to what you're doing today. Yeah,
Hmm.
people always say, "Oh, Pusha T been rapping about drugs for 20 years, nigga. You rich now." Pusha T also let it be known, nigga, this is what I know. This is what I rap about. I'm never going to change. I don't care. I don't care how rich I get. I'm going to always talk about what I talk about. Rick Ross is gonna always talk about what he talk about. You feel me? Like you don't gotta switch it up to appease people because they say, "Oh, you rich now. You shouldn't be talking about this." Whatever, nigga. This is what made me famous. This is what made me rich. Why wouldn't I keep
You gotta
going back to the
understand.
well?
The Clips, they make cinema music.
Exactly.
When I say cinema music, they
Hmm.
make the kind of music, and this is why Kanye has signed Pusha T,
Hmm.
because when you listen to to their music, Malice and Pusha T, you can go into a room, turn the lights off, lock the door, close your eyes, and you'll be able to visualize everything they are saying.
Exactly. And you can't
You'll
get
be
that
able
from everybody.
you can't get that from every artist. Like you can close your I was at work the other day, bro. I
Hmm.
closed my eyes, paused, and I was just like, yo, this I feel like I'm visualizing everything he's saying like it was a
Hmm.
movie, bro. And if you can't get you could get that with Big,
Hmm.
you can get that with Jay, you
Yup.
can get that with Nas. You can get that with
Hmm.
Jada Kiss,
Hmm.
Styles P, and you can't get that with every artist. If
Yup.
and it's unfortunate that we couldn't get that with the Little Wayne project that he just dropped. You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
it
just
is what
crazy, bro.
it is.
And then to an extent, like even like with like artists that aren't even of that same stature, like even with like guys like T Grizzly, you get that with him as well. he knows how to make a visualization. He's really good at storytelling rap. It may not hit the same when it first came out. They may not be first day out style, but he's still able to make those types of tracks where you could visualize what he's talking about. Before he passed away, King Von was another one that makes you visualize the streets that he grew up on, the stuff that he's talking about. G Herbo, Meek Mill, these guys visual make you visualize. Also, shout out to Meek Mill and G Herbo with Survivor's Guilt, which also dropped last week, which is a really dope track. They pay homage to all the fallen rappers not Meek Mill, like PNB Rock and Nipsey Hussle and Lil Snoop and Pop Smoke and Juice World. Like they're giving you an inside of how it feels to be the rapper that's friends with all the rappers that's no longer here. You got that guilt of still being here, and your people's not here no more, and you having to deal with that guilt, and you having to deal with that PTSD style feeling that you get from seeing some of your homies pass away way too early, and you
Mm-hmm.
still having to go along and be the rapper that everybody loved and cherished. Like it's a lot, and it's a really deep track. It's a really emotional track, and it's definitely something for people to listen to, especially getting into this time frame. You know, like at this moment in time, it's been an uphill battle. It's been an
Mm-hmm.
uphill battle living in this recession. You feel me? A lot of people going through depression and all of that. So that's a song for people to reflect on. You feel me? And I felt like that was really dope. I felt like that
Mm-hmm.
was really dope, and I'm feeling like this summer we gonna get a lot of different projects that's gonna have us either in our fields or ready to party. Feel me?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just crazy that one of the greatest of all time wasn't able to give us something to sink our teeth into for real. Like this is a one listen project in my opinion. And that's
Mm-hmm.
unfortunate because I never said that about a Lil Wayne about a Lil Wayne album. And Lil Wayne's had
Mm-hmm.
some duds before, but this is the bottom of the barrel in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, it's unfortunate, bro. It's unfortunate. So yo, man, it's men's mental health awareness month, yo.
Hmm.
And I dropped a short the other day about how, as men, we are looked at as to provide, you
And to be
know,
strong, yup.
to be strong and also be the protector, right? So sometimes, it's hard to provide and protect at
Hmm.
the same time, because if you're out there providing, then where's your presence?
Exactly.
So it's that middle ground that can become frustrating, you know so
Hmm.
um my piece of advice was to, whenever you're put in that place of frustration, it's always good to reflect. It's always good to reflect before you react.
Correct.
You understand what I'm saying? Because a lot of time when we react, too quickly, it's out of emotion.
I was just about to say it's always emotional,
It's
and
always
then
emotion.
and one thing, and of course this could be a little disingenuous, but every man understands that women do not want an emotional man that just reacts before thinking. Even though
Hmm.
the toxic Johns may claim that they want that, but we not looking for toxicity. We looking for real concrete relationships. And at the end of the day, what we want in a relationship, we want a woman that's going to not only hold us accountable, but reflect with us so that she's not reactive. I understand women move
Hmm.
off emotion, but we want her to also be emotionally stable as well. So that's why I feel like, on top of what you were saying, when you out providing for your family, the best way to protect your family is to teach them how to protect themselves when you're not around.
Hmm.
Be able to keep yourself together in a time where I'm not there. If you have a gun, you know where that's at. You have a bat, you know where that's at. You know how to defend yourself. You know how to keep yourself right. Your kids is in taekwondo or karate. They know how to defend themselves so they don't get bullied in those situations. So you don't have to always have to come off of work to come save somebody. But if necessary, if need be, I'm there. I'm a call away. But if you able to make sure that ain't nobody jacking you up, then that's most important. And the best way to be able to do that is when you got that free time, you in the backyard putting the gloves on with your son, or you teaching him how to duck smoke like Floyd had with his son. And I mean, yeah, like Floyd had with his son, and like how Floyd Jr. is doing with his grandson. That's the way that you protect, even when you know you may not always be around. And like Monica said, like, well, you want your woman to be your peace, to be able to have somebody to sit down and reflect with when you having a bad day. She's able to not only rub your back and hear you out, but be able to give you insight as well. And that's what we all looking for in life.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Yes, it's a
fact.
balance. It's
Mm-hmm.
definitely a balance. Kuzzle, what's good? It's definitely a balance. And you hit a very good point, man, about being able to train your children or
Mm-hmm.
have conversations with your lady on
Mm-hmm.
how to be emotionally stable.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times, there's gonna be rough times,
Yep.
and if that person is emotionally equipped to deal with a lot of things that might come their way, then yes, you can work better as a team and you'll still be able to provide, right? But well, meaning if you're at work or if you're out of town or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll still be able to, they'll be able to somewhat protect themselves emotionally or physically, like we were saying about the self-defense or what have you, when you're not there.
Yep.
And I think as men, like, I think that's some very good wisdom right there, you know to be able to just educate and be able to have those conversations. That way, if you're a person that you working a lot, that if I'm not there, my family
Mm-hmm.
is still good, my
Absolutely.
girl is still good. you know um it's very important, man.
Yep.
Yeah, mental, yeah, man. But reflecting before you react is so important. It's so important. I
And I'm gonna
think
be
that.
real with you.
Yeah.
That's something that I had to learn, and it took for me to leave the state that I lived my whole life in. You feel me? Like, because we, like, you know how it is in New York and New Jersey. Everybody a crash out. You feel me? So a
Hmm.
lot of times for us to be able to get away from being that same style of crash out, we have to
Hmm.
remove ourselves from that. We have to go somewhere like the countryside where it's real, it's slower. And yeah, it could be boring at times, but what it does is it gives you a state of peace. It gives you a state of patience. And that's what
Hmm.
I've gotten since being out here. I'm more patient. I'm more calm. I'm more sustainable. I'm able to think about my next move without being distracted with, oh, what we doing next weekend? You feel me?
Hmm.
Because I see my peoples out there, they having a good time, and I'm like, damn, I can't wait to get up out there because I'm trying to have a good time too. But at
Hmm.
the end of the day, what I need to do now is just stack that paper and get myself right, get that whip, so I'm able to be there and be back whenever need be. So that's what I'm thinking about right now, and that's what I'm worried about right now. Because if I was up in Jersey, I would still be trying to see what the wave is like. Because when the summer hit, the basketball courts be lit. You feel me, for the men's events, even in Dykeman or in Branchbrook,
Hmm.
it be jumping. You feel me, and
Hmm.
I'm always down to see some hoops. You feel me, like,
Hmm.
and that's gonna always be there. You feel me, like next year
Hmm.
it's gonna be more. It's gonna be another season. I'm gonna be more
Yeah.
a part of that. You feel me? This year I had to take that step back. Like I just met
Hmm.
up with the men with the guys at the hoop bus last year. I want to be on West Fourth at the basketball courts because that shit be jumping with the Messiah and when they be having all the different celebrities coming out because
Hmm.
West Fourth Street be jumping when it comes to basketball. Like that
Hmm.
court right there be lit, and the hoop bus
Hmm.
come around. They was out there for the Garden for the Knicks series. Like it was
Hmm.
it was lit. You feel me? Like I'm missing
Hmm.
out and I'm missing it, but at the same time, it's gonna be there next year. Nick's
Hmm.
gonna still be nice. You feel me? So it ain't nothing leaving. It's gonna still be there. You feel me? So
Hmm.
And that's all it really is. And I feel like a lot of times that's what be keeping a lot of people from growing, is trying to be a part of something when all you need to do is just reflect on yourself and get yourself right. Because it's gonna
Yeah.
still be there. Ain't nobody missing out on nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, man. It's crazy you say that. Separating yourself.
Mm-hmm.
I put a post like that last week, about a couple weeks
Mm-hmm.
ago. A lot of time, when you separate yourself, sometimes it can be from family, it can be from friends. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's when God starts to work on you.
Yup.
You understand? Like when you're able to just, sanctification comes with
Mm-hmm.
separation.
Yup. That's a fact.
So it's very important. It's very important to do that because distraction is can happen. And when you're distracted, you can't focus. It becomes a situation where you're not able to succeed,
Exactly.
you
That's
know?
a fact.
So yeah, man, like it's I mean you hit a couple of points, brother. You hit a couple of points. And you know, with it being men's mental health awareness month,
Mm-hmm.
I look at this as a time to really like focus on success. When the more you put into focusing on your success, the
Mm-hmm.
better you start to see things line up
Yup.
better in life. Things start to align better. You start to be, excuse me, you start to become more creative.
Absolutely.
You know, true. There can be too many temptations. Yeah, temptations come in so many different forms. So many different forms. And like you said, your piece is basketball. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Being able to, that was part of your piece,
Yeah.
and that's part of my piece also.
Mm-hmm.
Basketball, podcasting.
Yup.
Podcasting is a
Is
form of therapy because
yeah.
you start to talk about things. You could
That
be
you
talking
love to
about
do.
something. Yeah, you could be talking about something subliminally that's going on in your life. You can be
Mm-hmm.
something you've been through. I might be able to comment on, or the someone who's in the comments might be able to comment on.
Yup. I'm about
You
to say,
know,
and it's like, and, it,
so.
and it's crazy because like we could be real with the crowd. Like me and you ain't been chopping it up as much as we used to. But for
Hmm.
you to be able to post something on the gram
Hmm.
that I was able to reflect on just now without us even talking about it just shows you that that's the truth in it, in all in all. It's always going to be a reflection on when you take that time to yourself. And that's going to be where you start to think your best. You start to think your clearest, and
Hmm.
that all comes with time. You feel me? Like it
Yeah.
took for me to sit down and you feel me, just read. You feel me for
Hmm.
and then start doing crossword puzzles again, just to get my
Mm.
mind clear. You get what I mean? Like
Crossword puzzles. Wow.
yeah, fact. Like it just takes that to like really like just open your mind again to get back to thinking like how you used to. You feel me? Like,
Listen, let me tell you something, bro.
mm-hmm,
A lot of our brothers, you know what I'm saying, they passing on, man. And
yeah,
even sisters, from high blood pressure,
mm-hmm,
diabetes,
mm-hmm,
cancer. Like it's so many different things that can be prevented, you
yeah.
know.
And a lot of it
And
be based off of stress, and people don't understand that.
yes, this is what I'm trying to say.
Yup,
Yes, food sometimes, and a lot of times people they go to food, even strokes.
that's a
Yes,
fact. Yup,
when people are stressed out, oh, they say, oh, they start to eat more, or whatever the case is. High
mm-hmm,
blood pressure comes a lot of times from when you in that argument, and your blood pressure starts to go up because you're mad, you don't know how to control your anger, or you
mm-hmm.
stressed out about your girlfriend going out, or whatever the case is. If your girlfriend's going out too much, maybe you should go out a little too. You
Exactly,
understand what I'm saying? Like,
exactly. Because
y-
she
y-
9 times out of 10 wants you to go out with her, because
yeah.
everybody knows that one woman that's
No, I mean
outside
like if they
dolo.
if they're going out with their girlfriends or whatever the
Yeah,
case
it's
is.
yeah,
You
that's
understand what
different.
I'm
But
saying?
but
Like,
everybody know that one woman that's outside, and everybody trying to holler. She's like, "Nah, I got a man." It's like, why he ain't outside with you? And then in the back of her head, she thinking, "Why isn't he outside with me?" You feel me? Like
listen, let me
you
tell you
gotta.
something, bro. I've been in situations where I've been places, And
Mm-hmm.
I'll be like, "Oh yeah, yeah, you know, my girl, she's out of town at a festival or whatever." And
Mm-hmm.
the lady will say, "Oh wow, well, you supposed to be there with her. If I was with you, I'd have you out there with me." So it
But
goes it goes both ways.
yeah, and
You
then
understand what
sometimes
I'm
it'd be like,
saying?
but maybe she just wanted to do that herself. Like that's her shit. You know what I mean? Maybe I didn't want to go to that. Like,
You got
you feel
females
me?
out, you got women out there that want to travel with their girlfriends or their
Yeah,
family or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's their piece.
exactly.
You
And
understand what I'm saying? That's their piece. You know, when you start to find, when you start to my cousin is crazy. He
because like bro, but that's the truth. Like I always say this joke, but
yeah.
like when a woman is outside and she see a man that's happy, he just joyful. He usually probably either with his child or with his John, and she looking like, oh,
Hmm.
he real, or if he by himself and he just smiling, she like, oh, he look real happy. I bet you I could change that
Hmm.
because at the end of the day, a toxic female wants to stress you out. So she see you already happy and she want to see why you so happy. And it's like I'm
Hmm.
already in something that I want to be in, and now you
Hmm.
trying to mess that up because you see that I'm already happy, I'm already feeling good. So you want to feel good too, but all you gonna do is take away my joy by stressing me out.
Well, yeah, I mean that could definitely mean that, you know, she's not getting enough joy in her life. So
Exactly.
maybe you can kind of like level the plane.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
understand what I'm
yep.
saying? And you know, it is what it is. That can go
Mm-hmm.
both ways. Men are probably like that with women. You
Yeah, of
know, they
course.
see a woman very successful and
Mm-hmm.
they want to try to, you know, they want a piece of that. They want a piece of that mind,
Yep.
right?
Like,
So
yeah, like,
yeah,
oh
yeah.
shit,
So
she going to work every day. Like, she got a nice little beamer. Oh, let me see what she talking about.
yeah, yeah.
Whole time, my man ain't even got two nickels to rub or a pot to piss in. Like, you just about to fuck this woman whole day up. Like, bro, like, you need to get yourself right before you come messing with her. You feel me?
Yeah, man. So it's important for, you know, for men, you know, that for us to find our peace, for us
Yeah,
to be able to, you know, do different things. Like, don't get out of your element. Don't try to compete.
yeah,
I think a lot
exactly.
of times, you know, when you try to compete with the person you're in a relationship with, that's when you
That's
start to, you know, do things out of pocket. Like that ain't you,
nah.
bro.
That's when you start to get envious.
Yeah, like it's just not
And
you. It's just not you, bro. You know what I mean? So it's like
Cause
stay
I,
within your
cause I
element
got, cause
first.
I got a homegirl that's going through something like that. Like she just went to one of the conventions for like the anime down in Atlanta, and the
Hmm.
whole time she out, mind you, she wanted her man to go with her, but
He
he
ain't want to go.
working, he didn't want to go, whatever. He's not feeling himself all the way, so he not trying to go. And she went and had a good time with some of her friends, some of them that she's meeting for the first time, and the whole time he on her phone, like, oh, I'm going through it and da 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 da. Like, I hope you're not cheating
Mm.
on me and this and that. And it's like nobody
Mm.
wants to deal with something like that and then come home to that negativity after they just had a good time, especially when they wanted you to come with them in the first place.
Yeah,
You feel me? So and I see that more and more nowadays where people are going through that where their partner is not letting them breathe when they not around, and that's not cool. You feel me? You gotta be able to let your significant
that's
other.
when you have to, you know, get out of that relationship. You know,
Exactly.
these are signs, these are red flags, smoke signals
Yup.
that you need to get out of that relationship. When you're not able to go places, you know,
Hmm.
or you got to go through, you got to jump over a hurdle to go to an event. That it might be just me and the bros. This might not
Yeah.
be, or it might just be me and my coworkers.
Yup.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, moreover, this is a time where you have to reflect and say, listen, this woman, she has a life outside of me,
Yup.
and be able to understand that. Now, what I might need to do is do something that makes me happy that may not revolve around her,
Correct.
but still respectful. We're still,
Yeah.
you
You
understand what
still,
I'm saying?
yeah, still
Yeah.
keep it in the bounds of respect and keep it PG. You feel me? Like, yeah, yo, me and the
Yeah.
homies going to the bar. After I done had too many, I think it's time for me to go because I get a little slick at the mouth. I don't want to be here
Hmm.
doing nothing that's gonna mess up my relationship because I'm
Hmm.
thinking too much and I'm stressing at home. Like, nah, we're not gonna do that. We not gonna bring trouble. We not gonna bring trouble to the household. We not gonna bring our household troubles to the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Feel
Yeah.
me? That's for us to reflect on. If the reflection causes for us to go to therapy or go to
Whatever. Whatever.
our elders and have a conversation, then so be it. That's what we need to do. But what we not gonna do is bring it to the
Mhm.
forefront to somebody else.
Yeah, I think traveling. I think what I want to start doing more is travel.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
like my girlfriend, she travels, somewhat. Her and her
Hmm.
girlfriends, and sometimes me and her might travel or whatever. But I want to start traveling, a lot more because that I see that it creates a balance for me,
Hmm.
within my lifestyle of working. Just graduating from school, so now I got a little bit more time on my hands.
Yup.
You understand what I'm saying? More my children to to experience traveling also. So whenever I travel, I feel like I have a peace of mind. you know um
Absolutely.
I'm by me just graduating, I'm by God's grace, I may be putting myself in another job position, what I mean, which will allow me
Hmm.
to have more time to travel,
Absolutely.
and put more time towards the family and all that kind of stuff. So like just create a situation, just check the boxes. Like I was telling one of my bros, one of my coworkers yesterday, we went out for dinner.
Hmm.
Shout out to Ricardo's awesome steak restaurant in Harlem on the east side. Make sure y'all go
Mm.
check them out. That was my first
Ricardo's.
time going there to eat. Right. So
It sounds dope too. Ricardo's.
yeah, yeah, man. Just check off the boxes, man. Like when you're on the road to success, you might not see the finish line. When people say, "Oh, so when you get this, what is this going to do for you? When you get that, what is that?" Everybody knows. Listen, I'm just following my passion.
Exactly.
Just follow your passion.
And
When
that's
you,
something I had a conversation with my cousin about because I was like, this
yeah,
is what I want to go to school for. He's like, well, but there's not a whole lot of jobs in that field. And I'm like, yeah, I get that, but I'm not trying to just go to school just to
get a
come
job.
out and just get a job. Like I gotta do this to be
Hmm.
able to learn more about the thing that I already have in my mind. I need to know the
Hmm.
terminology to certain things. I want to be able to branch out and be able to work with different people. And having that credential makes it easier for people to trust that you know what you're talking about, you know what you're doing. So that's really the reason why I wanted to go back for media and communications because it's just something that
Mm.
I'm already good at. Marketing is something that I've already been good at, something I've already learned to do. So it's like that's just what I want to go back for. It's not like I'm not about to sit here and go back for electricity when I don't see myself being an electrician, even if it means I could
Hmm.
get me a job that's gonna pay me 85K. Like, yeah, the money sounds good, but there's ways to make money when you work in your regular 9 to 5 that could get you that passive income on the outside. And that's really what I'm looking at anyway when it's all said and done. So
Hmm.
even no matter what job it is, I'm gonna still try to look at that passive income. So like that's gonna be the next step regardless. So, that's
Hmm.
something that I had to think about myself because I was really contemplating. I'm like, bro, if I go to school, I could go to school for media and communications, or I can go to school for engineering or whatever the case may be. Like it's so many different things. I want to go back and learn more about the computer, like the different ways of using your computer because I want to get more literate when it comes to using the computer outside of just using the internet. You get what I mean? Using different
Hmm.
programs and stuff like that. So that's also something that I also want to look into as well. So that's something that I had to sit back and think about before I just jumped in on it. Because if you
Hmm.
sit here and just jump in on it, you're gonna be stuck. You feel me? Because college ain't cheap,
Hmm.
so you
Hmm.
gonna be sitting there paying for that shit no matter what.
Hmm.
So you might want to take that time to figure out what you want to do before you just do it. So
Hmm.
that's pretty much what I was looking at, and that's what I've been at the last couple months, really thinking about going back to school and what I wanted to do with it. You get what I mean?
Hmm. Yeah, you follow your passion. Shout out to my cousin. You know, she's in school for social work out
Mm-hmm.
there in Chicago, you know, and she's supposed to be graduating, I think, in another year or so. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So it's like, you know, you follow your passion, you know, and then doors will start to open up.
Absolutely.
All right. Doors will start to open up, you know, when you start to check off those boxes. You
And one
understand what I'm
thing I've
saying?
also noticed is like when you are working at a job with people that not only believe in you but trust you, what they'll do
Mm-hmm.
is they will push you to do what you want to do
Yeah.
in the long run, even if it means leaving that job. They know they really want you there, but they understand that if necessary, you can always have your job back, or I'm gonna just get somebody else and you can teach them how to be as good as you, or whatever the case may be. So at the end of the day, if you find a job with people that really trust you and really want to see you win, they're going to push you to do whatever it is that you really want to do for real. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the end all be all when it comes to it, for real, for real. You want that in life. That's real. That's real love. That's real growth for real.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody's not able to find that in life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. This yo, man, this platform, yo, like I really wanted to it's going to expand, you know,
Mm-hmm.
in a powerful, powerful way, you know, where we'll be able to not just talk to the men, but talk to the woman,
Mm-hmm.
you know, so they can see what we look for and what we look for out of a good woman.
Yeah.
You know, like my cousin said earlier, you know, be his peace. You know
Mm-hmm.
how important that is. You
Exactly. And
understand what I'm saying?
not too many
Like the
people
man, we're
understand that.
there as peace, as the rock out the gate.
Facts.
You
Like
understand what I'm
that's
saying? And a
all
lot of times,
that's always our job. You know what I mean? We
yeah.
always come into it like, yeah, this is what I'm here to do. I'm here to make
Hmm.
sure that my woman is safe. Off real.
Yeah. Yeah. So all we need is that good energy, that good positive energy that supports us in any way, shape, form, or fashion, because we're gonna support the woman out. That's a given. You know,
Facts.
I want to see my woman win, you know, because if you win, we win at the end of the day.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know, so I want to talk about a post that a brother put up. He sent me a post earlier, and it said, no matter how positive, no matter how much of a woman, and I think a lot of men are suffering from this. Some men, but I think a lot of men are suffering from this, like at the back of their head, knowing that their woman is going to cheat on them, regardless of how good you treat them, how much you do for them.
I had
What
to laugh
like,
at that because that's like it's so funny. Like, but continue your point, but I just had to laugh at that because like
yeah,
it'd be such an uphill battle when you think like that because you're never going to be able to grow or have a successful relationship when
hmm
that's always on your mind. Like I have
hmm
stories for days with shit like that. Like guys sitting here going back and forth with a shorty, and then when you got the chance to get them back, the first thing you do is batter them for whatever insecurities in your head, and
hmm
then you get into another argument, and now she don't want nothing to do with you,
yeah, yeah,
and now you
and
want to be the best version of yourself. Now she's threatening to leave you, and it's like, bro, if you knew that this girl was down for you for real, like you
hmm
say you think you know, then why are you always trying to badger her for possibly cheating on you? Like, why do you not trust her enough to just respect you out in these streets? Like, you and your John should have enough of a communication to know when she's doing you wrong versus when she's not doing you wrong.
but my thing is a lot of in the comments you see, oh, this is why, you know, I'm single, or this is why being single is the best way. It's like you gotta have a positive way of thinking. You understand
Exactly.
what I'm saying? If you are a God-fearing person and you know good and well, if you out listen, first of all, if you out there cheating on your girl or trying to cheat on her, or do whatever you're doing,
Mm-hmm.
right? And you find out your girl is cheating, you should be the last person to be getting mad.
Exactly. Like
Do
now,
you understand what I'm saying?
y'all just need to work
If
on.
you out there being disrespectful, you know what I'm saying, to your girl behind her back, first and foremost, you should be the last one to be mad. Okay. And number two, if you out there and you're not cheating and you're doing the best you can as a man, and you find out your girl is cheating, right? This is the
Mhm.
perfect time to reflect.
Exactly. Look at what you did, and it's something that my boy
No, no,
be.
no. I'm saying
Oh,
if you're the
reflect that.
man
Hmm.
who's never done anything bad,
Okay.
who's always been faithful, and you find out that your woman is cheating on you, this is the time to reflect
Yeah.
and say, "Hey, listen, she was weak.
True. But that's why I also said you do want to
She was
look
weak,
at. You also want to look at something that you might have done in a way, like even if you didn't do nothing physical, you didn't do nothing. It's sometimes it could be something as little as not being emotionally there for your John. Like at moments where she just want to talk and you like, oh baby, I'm
bro.
tired.
It might not even be your fault." That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like you're the best man. I'm talking about. You was a cheerleader. You was all of that.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? You just have to realize
Oh
that,
yeah, that at that moment in time, yeah, she's just weak, and there was nothing
yeah,
that you could do about that. It was just a situation where
yeah,
your John just never really was all the way there for you to begin with, and you
that's
just
it. That's it.
put your eggs in the wrong basket. So yeah, I get where you're
That's
coming
it.
from.
That's it. And this is why it's important to always be on a road to being working on your success. You understand what I'm saying? Because you
Hmm.
should never let a woman get in the way of your success. If you put hands on that woman, if you stress yourself out from that woman, or whatever the case is, now you messing up your bag.
Exactly. Or it's something as simple as you don't let that woman breathe without you being all up underneath her. Like you have to give your significant other space. You
Hmm.
have to be able to
Yeah.
have your own life.
Yeah, you got to
That's why
create,
it's
and that's what creates balance. So, God forbid you do go down that road, you can say, "Hey, listen, this is how
hmm
I'm going to move. This is how I'm going to act. It's going to take 6 months to a year to get over this. I'm
hmm
okay with that. Get therapy if you need to get therapy, and you
hmm
keep it moving. That's it.
exactly.
That's it. But you can't be fearful of a relationship because of what could possibly happen or what people say on the internet happen or could happen or whatever. You can't be that way, man.
Exactly, because
You
then
can't be
you'll
that way.
never get nowhere. You never get nowhere.
Exactly.
Sit here,
Exactly.
sit here and be like, "Oh, I could have been married. I could have had kids." Da, 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 but I kept seeing my cousins go through this, and I was like, "I'm not about to deal
Mhm.
with this." And it's like,
We have to
I get,
support
I
and
get where you're
be
coming from, but you can't
support.
sit here.
Yeah, you gotta be supportive of your better half. It's really
Exactly,
important. I think that's what keeps relationships together.
absolutely,
When you show interest in what your man is going through or what your lady is going through, when you show interest, a lot of times that's what keep that's a love language.
yeah,
I feel like that's a love language, being able to align yourself with your mate on a business or just a personal level to that extent. It's really important. Live for the future and stop dwelling on the past. Yeah, yeah, you got to live for the future. Um, don't look at it as a loss. Look at it as a lesson.
exactly, and
You know what I'm
that's what I
saying?
love. That's one of my favorite sayings. Like
Yeah,
every loss is not a loss; it's just a lesson.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
with game one for the Thunder, like there was a loss, but it's
yeah.
really a lesson, bro. You just gotta reflect on what you did wrong because you
Hmm.
had control of the entire game.
The
You just
whole
let it slip
game.
away.
The first
Just
lead that Indiana had was when the game was over.
with point 0.3 seconds
Was
left,
point
bro.
0.3 seconds, and it's like they showed that throughout the whole playoff series.
I'm about to
Like,
say, yup, because being a Cleveland fan, we sat here and let that same exact thing happen to us. Game two, we had a 20-point lead. It's looking like, yo, we got this game in the bag. We up by 7 with 40 seconds left, and we took our foot off the gas. and gave Halliburton a chance to make a big time shot that ends up being a part of history.
A lot of times people think like that team, that Indiana team, like we got them. They're in the dirt. They're in the dirt, and they
Mm-hmm.
just stay on your heels, bro. They
Yup.
stay on your heels, and then you look up. This dude is hitting a freaking a shot at the last second. I'm going at this point. I'm not going for that. I like OKC because I feel like I like this the style of they play. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? But Indiana, I don't know. Something about Halliburton I like. I think I like because he's a shooter. You know, and I'm a shooter. He
I'm
just puts it
going.
up there.
I'm going. I'm always go. I'm going with Shea because my bias against Indiana, them being a rival of my team. We see them 4 times a year, so I can't go
Mhm.
with the enemy too much. Even though I was going with the Knicks to beat them, but that's because they beat us.
Yeah.
Um, I'm going with OKC because I really mess with Shea Gildas' game.
Hmm.
I love his game ever since he came into the league, coming out of Kentucky. He's always had a really poised and patient game. But for
Hmm.
him to be able to win this series, it's not going to be on him. It's going to be on everybody else. Chet Holmgren, for example, has to be better. Only 6 points, six
Hmm.
rebounds in game one is not going to cut it. You need to be
Hmm.
better. Jalen Williams needs to be better. And Jalen Williams
Hmm.
has had moments where he's been looked at as an afterthought in this in these playoffs, especially against Denver,
Hmm.
where Denver was literally leaving him on an island, and they're pretty much telling J Dub, you gonna have to show us that we need to defend you because
Hmm.
OKC's biggest problem all year long has been their shooting. They have shooters, but it
Hmm.
has to be on a consistent basis. Lou Dort
Okay.
was hitting the three ball like nothing in game one, but in that fourth quarter, OKC ain't hit no threes at
Hmm.
all in the fourth quarter. And every time it seemed like the Pacers needed a bucket, they was getting one. It was the three from Miles Turner off the
Hmm.
glass that
Hmm.
cut the lead to 8. And then
Hmm.
after Halliburton, I'm not Halliburton, after Shea and Nimhard get into a little shoving match after Shea goes to the line, Nimhard catches him on an ISO move and pulls it in his face and smacks another
Uh-huh.
three. And it's
Yeah.
like every time you thought that OKC had a chance to branch out and take a big time lead, Indiana's right back on them, right back underneath them single digits. And that was the
Hmm.
biggest difference. And on top of that, the only person that it seemed like in the fourth quarter that was giving you a bucket was Shea. It was always
Hmm.
Shea giving you that bucket from OKC, but it was somebody different on
Hmm.
Indiana giving you the bucket on the other side. Halliburton only had 14 points, bro. And he hit the biggest shot because his team trusts him in the clutch. Like I'm gonna be real with you. Like I call Halliburton a front runner because of the fact that they want to call him a superstar, but he's not asked to do what other superstars are asked to do. Shea
Hmm.
Gilders is asked to do what superstars are asked to do because you looking at the situation, it's 6, 7 possessions in a row. They're asking Shea to get them that bucket. They're not asking Halliburton to get them that bucket. They're asking Pascal on one play and Miles Turner on another play.
Hmm.
Shea has the ability to go to different guys, but we all know that Shea Gilders is who he is. He's going to get
Yeah.
a bucket no matter what. And what Indiana was able to do was make it incredibly difficult for anybody else outside of Shea to get a bucket in the clutch. And
Hmm.
that's what's going to make the biggest difference. And
Hmm.
that's what they got to reflect on today. If they think they're
Hmm.
going to win this game and keep this series alive, you have to
Yeah.
get the buckets from somebody else other than Shea in the clutch. First
Mm.
quarter, it doesn't really matter. Second quarter, not so much. It don't really matter. It's gonna be what it's gonna be, and you know that certain players is gonna ball out. That's why Lou Dort was hitting all the crazy shots early on. But
Hmm.
are you going to be able to do that for me in the clutch though? Because that's what I really needed. Because Shea is gonna get double teamed, and he's still gonna get a bucket. he had
Uh-huh.
38 points. You feel me? Like he looked like the best player on the floor. But
Yeah,
at the
yeah,
same
yeah.
time, you gonna need somebody else to give you something extra. One more thing
Facts.
that I also noticed from game one, Indiana turned the ball over like on a crazy clip. Over
Mm.
like I think they had like 20 turnovers in the first half, but they only
Mm-hmm.
had 24 for the entire game. So they calmed it down in the second half. But where
Mm-hmm.
OKC was messing up, they only scored 11 points off of 24 turnovers.
Oh, okay.
You need, if you're going to make somebody turn over the ball like that, then you need to be able to get some shots off on the other side, fast
Yeah.
break buckets to be able to knock the defense off a little bit.
Okay.
And OKC, which has been their bread and butter all season, were not able to do that. It's like they went away from the game that brought them to the dance.
Mm-hmm.
When they get out on a break, they score after they have made a team turn over the ball. That's how they was able to blow Memphis out by 50 in game
Uh-huh.
one. That's how they was able to blow out the Nuggets by 50 in game two. That's how they was able to blow out the Timberwolves by 40 in game five to close out the series. That's
Yeah.
their bread and butter. When you get the turnover, you out and running. Due to the fact that the Pacers like to run, they not giving them the chance to even get out on a break. They already back there. They already ready for you. So what
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna need to do is you're gonna have to be able to score in that half court offense. So this
Yeah.
game is going to be a reflection on what is your coach going to be able to do for you? Because Rick Carlisle been there, don't want it already.
Mm-hmm.
OKC coach is young. He ain't never been there before. Is he going to be able to help those guys reclaim their dominance in this game? Or are they going to be like Cleveland and New York and in Boston, giving up 2 games on their home floor?
It's now it's funny you say so this is like the old coach against the young coach, right?
Correct. Yup.
So Tom Thibodeau,
Mm-hmm.
he was the coach for the New York Knicks. He just got
Yup.
fired. And
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people was complaining about how he had an old coaching style,
Yup.
right? And how he needed to change up.
Yeah.
How he was coaching the Knicks, letting the guys from the bench play a little bit more, burning the starting five out a lot, getting them
Mm-hmm.
in foul trouble. So do you see the Knicks bringing in a younger coach, or because you got Mark Jackson, you got
You got
even
the Van
Stephon
Gundy's.
Marbury.
You got yeah, and then you got to an extent you got Malone, who is the coach of the Nuggets, who just lost his job earlier this season. You got the
Hmm.
Memphis coach, who's a little bit younger. I want to say his
Hmm.
name is Taylor Jenkins. You got
Hmm.
different guys that you can go to, but a lot of people are pointing to the associate head coach from Cleveland, Johnny Bryant, as one of the number one contenders to
Hmm.
be the coach of the Knicks. Mike Malone is also somebody else, a veteran
Hmm.
coach who knows how to switch it up, who knows how to go deep into his bench if need be. Because yeah,
Hmm.
like the difference in Indiana and New York is Tom Thibodeau is stuck in his ways, and Rick Carlisle's always been ahead of the fray.
Oh.
Because when what he was able to do with that Mavericks team in 2011 that nobody believed in that could go as far as they did, they just
Hmm.
used their depth to their advantage. They were able to have guys that may not be the best defenders, but are
Yeah.
defensively sound, know how to stop a basket, and know how to get out on a break. And then they had their star player that was going to get them over the top in the
Hmm.
clutch in Dirk Nowitzki. And they was
Yeah.
able to defeat not only Kobe Bryant, but a young Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, and then LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh in the finals on one of
Yeah.
the greatest runs. of all time, with one of the most important rings of all time with the 2011 Mavericks.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, we probably shouldn't have doubted this Pacers team to begin with. But I
Mm-hmm.
knew I was going to doubt them because I felt like with my team being shorthanded, I feel like if we were healthy, we probably would have beat them because of the fact that every game we were going head to head with them. We was able to run and gun with them. We was able to stop them at moments in time. They was able to stop us at moments in time. It's just the fact that in the clutch moment, my star player who was asked to do so much because his second and third option wasn't available for the first two games. He was dirt tired in the fourth quarter, so he wasn't able to give us that same level of intensity as Halliburton was able to give you in the fourth quarter because Halliburton is not asked to do as much as most star players are or most number
Mm-hmm.
one options.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, is it going to be another situation like that where OKC is asked is asking Shea to do a little bit too much, and he's not able to capitalize because of the fact that he's dirt tired when we
Mm-hmm.
get to the fourth quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So that's going to be the question today:
Question at hand.
is yeah, like is Jalen Williams going to be able to give you that level of prowess on the offensive side that he was
Mm-hmm.
able to do in the regular season? Is Chet Holmgren going to be able to level up to the player that he's supposed to be? Because last year OKC was in the same position they were this year. They were the number one seed. Only reason why they didn't win is because Chet was just coming back into the game after missing his entire first season off of injury and them not having real depth at the big man spot. Now they got Isaiah Hartenstein, but they're still getting out rebounded. They're still getting out pressured in the paint. So that's
Mm-hmm.
going to be something that they need for their big men to do. They need them to be
Yeah.
better. They need them to be more hungry, more gritty. Like you're not going to be able
Mm-hmm.
to just beat these guys. They're not going to let you just beat them. You need to be able to outpower them
Mm.
and get those boards. And for them to be able to outdo Jokic, who was giving them everything,
Mm-hmm.
it shows that they got the character to be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, in my opinion, the Nuggets probably could have beat them if it wasn't for the game. I want to say game five,
Mm-hmm.
or game six, one of the two, where Jalen Williams gives you 35 points in a crucial moment. So you're gonna need that guy to show up again. Chet was able to get his as well against Jokic, getting like 25 and 12 in certain games. You're going to need that from these guys if you think that you're going to win the series. That's a
Yeah.
fact.
All right, bro. So we gonna have to see what's up, man. I think
That's a fact.
it's still early. It's still early. It's still
Yeah.
early. Still
And
the first game.
we've seen series where a team goes down 2-0, like for example D Wade in the Heat in 2006. We've seen
Mm-hmm.
teams go down 2-0, or Giannis in 2021 for like a more recent,
Mm-hmm.
where a team goes down 2-0 and then they're able to win four straight and still win the series, or a
Mm-hmm.
situation like Cleveland in 2016 going down 3-1 and still winning three straight. So it's not over until it's
Yeah.
over. If
Yeah.
Indiana wins this game and it goes in game three and wins three straight, then there's nothing that OKC could do, in my opinion.
It's
So
over.
OKC needs to get this game most definitely. But even if they don't get this game, they'd have to make sure they don't go down 0-3.
Cool. 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 All right. So we going. The game's on in a couple hours.
No
I
doubt.
was I was planning to go see the Karate Kid movie.
Hmm.
Um, at the movie theater. I thought I was gonna catch a matinee, then I thought I was gonna catch the 5:30.
Hmm.
I don't know. I might have to wait. I might go sometime this week. Because I grew up watching Karate Kid. Like
Yeah,
that was my joint.
I'm about to say,
I
yeah,
saw
that's a
the
great series.
I saw this movie on Netflix, Straw, yesterday. Well, I finished watching it yesterday.
Hmm.
That's what was it
Yeah,
Taraji B Henson,
and
and
Sherry Shepard, yep, and
yeah, yeah,
Tiana
yeah.
Taylor, who I feel like
Tiana Taylor.
had probably the
I
best
I think it
performance of that
was
movie.
I think it was a good movie.
Hmm.
it had a lot to do with mental health. I think I realized that towards the middle of the movie, where I
Yeah,
was like, something's wrong with this woman. Like,
yeah,
she really has some mental health issues.
yup,
But it moreover, it was because of her daughter dying,
yeah, and
and
that was a powerful moment in the movie because it
mhm.
threw me for a loop because I'm like, hold on, like
Yeah,
I'm over.
I still have a loop. I'm still thrown for a loop. I was talking to my girl about it earlier, and
Mm-hmm.
she was even thrown for a loop within the conversation we had about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it's a movie that I'm probably gonna have to watch again to
Yeah.
just to like put the nail in the coffin, if that makes sense. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like to actually get it, you know, um, because it was a tricky movie.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think Tiana Taylor did?
I think Tiana Taylor did excellent in that movie, and that's something that I've noticed about her. Like she's a powerful actress that does very well at extracting emotion, and I felt like her performance was really dope. She's the one to me that really kind of kept this movie grounded
Going,
because
kept it
of
going.
course, because you know how Tyler Perry movies are. They tend to drag sometimes, especially when they aren't being asked to be in multiple scenes, and he can be very long winded with his scenes being in one place. I felt like her acting brung this movie all together, and her being able to not just be like every other cop and just want to just resort to violence and just making sure that this woman understood that we are here for you, we want to make sure you good, da 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 da. And it's unfortunate in the situation where everybody except for this woman is remembering that her daughter ain't even here no more. And it's
Mm.
unfortunate as hell that she had to go through that in the first place because I was rooting for her to get up out of that. Like I knew she wasn't going to get out of that without either being alive. I mean, without her either being dead or going to jail. I'm glad that it didn't end in the result of her just getting hit because I don't want to spoil it too much, but like I'm glad that they went the route that they went because it would have been a very unfortunate ending if it went the other route, which is usually the route that we are known to seeing. Like for example, like John Q. Like I'm glad they went the route that they went in that movie. It's funny because I just watched that movie for the first time a couple weeks ago. And even though that movie was based off of a story that ended tragically, I'm glad that Tyler Perry didn't jump the gun and just ended tragically. Like we was able to get somewhat of a happy ending because of the fact that everybody was rooting for this woman and understanding that like life was just kicking her ass. It was a bunch of unfortunate events and like it was a dope movie. I feel like it was one of Tyler Perry's better performances in the last decade. And
Mm.
like I don't know, I feel like he probably had somebody else helping him on the writing staff because usually Tyler Perry movies don't really be that. In my opinion, they don't really be that like what's the word I'm looking for without being disrespectful. I'm trying to think.
Mm.
Like it usually don't be. It don't because it's always because I feel like a lot of times his movies be real or his TV shows be real like closed minded to an extent.
No, it's his some of his work is too predictable.
Yeah, yeah, predictable as well. Yeah, and like this movie kind of had you
It was a
sitting on the
twist.
edge of your seat.
It
Yeah,
was a twist. It was a twist, and that's what happens when you
mm-hmm.
have different writers.
Yep.
You know,
You
it can
get
work to your
different
benefit.
ideas. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah. It's always a twist to it. Like nobody thought that the daughter had already died.
Exactly. And that's the
You
point where I'm like,
know,
oh
so
shit. Like I'm looking like, oh, like that was not what I was expecting. And I felt
mhm.
like that was really, really dope. I felt like
Do you think this might go into like one of like his top five best movies?
it could, it could, maybe, possibly, because I don't know, because like when I think of like Tyler Perry's best, I'm still thinking of like Diary of a Mad Black Woman, even though it's like got the backdrop of Dia and like even Family Reunion. Like these are movies that had a premise and was able to do it very well. Of course, he kind of like did it to death in a way
Hmm.
because there's always
Hmm.
that angry husband and the wife that don't want to fight, and then she finally fights. Like I felt like that, like my favorite movies are usually the ones that were branched off of plays. I watched a couple of his plays recently for the first time in a while, and it brought me back to like the glory days in a way. Because like I feel like in 2007, around that time, like that's when Tyler Perry was at his best. But like yeah, like you got the For Color Girls, which I feel like is a very powerful film.
Hmm.
I forget the name of the film that we was talking about. I think it's called Temptation. Like that's another one of his stronger films. Like so, yeah, I feel like this is one of his more
I think
better
people they're
films.
very much drawn to the "Why did I get married?"
Yeah.
and
Oh
all those
shit, I
different
forgot
things.
about that. That's my
Yeah, so
shit.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So
that's
he has
definitely.
some very
Mm-hmm.
good movies, some good pictures. Moreover, this type of film is top five. She says Monica says top two.
Mm.
Because it's I think because it's not as predictable as the other
Yeah.
movies, and it really focuses on a black woman who
Yeah.
is struggling, trying to make ends meet, and then just her like with her behavior patterns.
Yeah.
It gave us time to just like hone in on her behavior patterns, and then the twist,
Absolutely.
like it makes you really think about why she was acting the way she was. And that happens with people. They might go through a crisis, something might happen, and then
Yeah.
sometimes it turns into a disorder.
Yeah.
Feel me?
Absolutely. Because then,
Right.
like, you look at it and it's like, if she would have reflected better on her situation, maybe a lot of what happened to her doesn't happen. But then at the same time, all the people that was around her not even giving her the benefit of the doubt because of the fact that she did lose her daughter, and she's still thinking like, oh, I gotta make sure that my daughter get this food, da da da, and whole time she done passed away.
Hmm.
That
Yeah.
shit was deep.
Yeah. 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 A lot of his old films are predictable, but this one wasn't. This
Yeah,
this this
absolutely,
one wasn't. Like,
absolutely,
it was
absolutely.
it was a little drag to it. Like you said though,
Like that middle,
Tiana
like
Taylor.
cause that first 45 minutes, in my opinion, that shit was hitting. I'm like, oh, this movie
Yeah.
kind of hitting for something. Even though it's
Yeah.
like he still does that trope where it's like, oh, everybody is like the meanest person in the world. You feel me? Like it is a little bit extreme, but movies gonna do that. So like
Mhm.
without nitpicking it too much, I'm not thinking that it's like an Oscar bait type of movie. It's not like a top five movie of the year or nothing crazy like that. But it is a movie where it does make you reflect on things and make you look at
Mhm.
things a little bit differently. And then after that, I had to go back and watch. Money in the Bank. I'm a big
Mhm.
wrestling fan. John Cena on his retirement tour, so he was tagging with Logan Paul. They had a really really dope match. For all my wrestling fans that's watching, you feel me? Go check that out if you have not seen it. That was a really really dope match. WWE did their thing this weekend. I feel like it's been a good weekend
So
for media order all around, in
you
my
said
opinion.
Trump was in Jersey this weekend?
Yeah, yeah, he was at the UFC event with the main
Oh.
event. Funny enough, my best friend met up with the champion of the main event. I'm not even about to try to say his name. His first name is Marab, but I can't
Hmm.
say his last name. He fought Shane Mosley. He fought Shane O'Malley in the main event and retained his title with, I believe, his first submission victory. So I told him, I'm like, you probably gave him some good luck. He seen you and did something out of body because he ain't
Mm.
never won by submission, and he just choked out Shane O'Malley in front of the president of the United States, and then they both jumped over the cage and gave Trump a handshake and all of that. So you know how that goes, and
So what's the deal? What's the deal with Trump and Elon? Are they like feuding? Are they not seeing eye to eye?
I'm hearing that the trouble in paradise is immense, and those guys ain't cool no more. To the point where Trump done
Man.
kicked them out of the White House, and
Whoa.
Elon sitting here saying the reason why we ain't gonna see them Epstein lists because Trump's name is on them, and I'm hearing that somebody in Trump's cabinet swung on Elon Musk. So as things keeps on going, we're gonna get more and more information as it goes. And that joint has just been crazy, just as much as the Diddy trials has been crazy. If you know, like I know, 50 Cent's baby moms just went on the stand and spoke about what was going on there and how he forced her to do the freak offs, or he wasn't gonna pay her rent. And
What the hell?
yeah, and I'm hearing that if he didn't already, that 50 Cent might even be taking the stand soon. So,
So he had
um,
50 Cent well, he had his baby mother in the freak offs.
yeah, as
That's some
baby,
nasty work, bro.
yeah, and you can see how that makes 50 Cent feel, and that's why he be on the type time and he be on like on some like fuck Puff shit because no Diddy just be thinking
Hmm.
that he's untouchable.
Hmm.
And now with this situation at hand, you got Kid Cudi doing what he did, and people trying to run him down as if his life wasn't on the line, and
Hmm.
Cassie doing what she needed to do to protect herself. It is a lot going on, and I ain't gonna lie to you, that motherfucking Cam is one of the funniest motherfuckers on the media right now, bro. Because hearing his takes on it and hearing him interviewing some of the dudes that were at the freak offs, it's like it just shows you that like sometimes even if Cam does take it serious, 'cause he takes his job very serious. If
Hmm.
you don't watch it is what it is, or at least catch clips, and you missing out, that's probably the funniest, if not one of the funniest podcasts on in the game right now. Cam takes his job incredibly serious, but he has a way of tying in humor when asking his questions because he knows that's gonna get the clicks. And that shit is hilarious, bro. Like
So he
hearing him
so
talk
so he
about
was
that,
interviewing the Punisher, right?
yeah, I believe so, yeah. And he asking about like where Diddy made you ejaculate on cats yet, or what you had to do in those situations. And then on top of that, he was also talking about the Zion situation as well, and hopping on Mariah Mills. And this man Cam just been on a generational run. I'm just gonna say that, like he just been on a
Wow.
generational run
Wow. Shout out to Killer Cam, man. For real,
lately.
for real.
Man,
Yeah,
that's a
but
fact.
yeah, we'll see what's up with Diddy, man. That's gonna be. I
Absolutely.
think that trial is almost a wrap up. It's about
Hmm.
wrapping up soon, and we'll see. I know I saw a clip on I think it was Judge Mathis. He said that if it was state charges, that he would give him at least 5 to 10.
Yeah.
For what has been proven so far.
Hmm.
So I don't see Diddy doing more than 5 years, if
Yeah, I'm about to
that.
say it's like if we
Yeah,
really
I
being
see.
real,
I
like
see
this
him
is
maybe doing the most 2 or 3. What
because
he's done.
they're not able to get as much evidence on him as they want. But
Yeah.
I feel like when it comes to that murder that might have that happened in the club that they tried to write off, that's gonna be the difference maker in my opinion. I feel like that's what's going to probably tank this from being a 2 to 3 to probably a 12 or 13.
What murder?
So if you didn't read the Diddy files, there was a situation where somebody had an argument with Puff and his oldest, Justin. And supposedly, like I don't know how much truth it is to it, but supposedly Diddy and Justin killed the man in the bathroom,
Oh.
and they kind of like had security take him outside, and they called the police and said that it was a drive-by shooting, and they covered it up because the
Mm.
bathroom was full of blood and all types of nonsense. And then Puff and Justin was able to kind of like go to another side of the club where they were nowhere to be found in the situation. So when the police showed up,
Mm.
they were nowhere to be found. So it's a lot going on with that situation. And a lot of this happened in like Miami, and some of it happened in LA. And all of this was off of somebody that was working with Puff during the Love album, which was what around like 2018 to 2020, something like that. So
Hmm.
these are very recent claims that's being put out there. So that's something that's probably if the guy that did the Diddy files, if he hasn't already testified, that's probably somebody that they're gonna try to get to testify soon because he'll be the one that'll be able to really tell what really went down due to the fact that he was
Situation.
working with Diddy for a 2 to 3 year basis.
Russ.
So
Wow. Wow, that's crazy, man. Yeah, but if they're not able to stick, put that on Diddy, then like I said, the most I see him doing is three. Even with the Rico situation, I don't think them really giving him a full charge on that,
hmm
because these people are doing things with consent.
yeah, sometimes
I
we
mean,
would.
nobody's got real saying he forced me to do this. He forced me, like, this is all consent. If he say I ain't gonna pay your rent, that's still a choice you
Yeah,
made. You
exactly.
know what I'm
Yeah, to
saying?
an extent,
So
yeah. You are right. In a court of law,
yeah,
that is still a situation where that person is still liable
yeah,
for whatever because
yeah,
you agreed to it. You could have easily just went and lived with
yeah,
your mama, right?
yeah, exactly. You
Yeah.
wanted to be there. You wanted to be at the freak off.
And
So
even if there's a lot of homosexuality acts going on, being gay is not a crime.
it's not.
So
Never was, never will.
exactly.
Never was,
So
never will. But yeah, so yeah,
Diddy is definitely still on the hot seat, and people are not gonna want to work with Puff as much after if he does get
after.
out. But it is still a situation at hand where
Mhm.
you have to kind of just it's gonna go the way it goes, and we'll see
Yeah.
how it goes for real.
Yeah, man. So listen, I want to thank everybody for tuning in.
Absolutely.
Remember, it's Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Ladies, you out there, tap in with your brother, tap in with your man, tap in with your father, whoever's a
hmm
male figure in your life, and just have a mental health conversation with them, and ask them how they're doing. You know, just have a conversation. You know, whether it's happy, sad, whatever it is, just have a
Yup.
conversation because a lot of
Absolutely.
times, as men, we bottle things in, and we think, oh, just because we're men, that we're not supposed to talk about it, or we're not supposed to show emotion. We just supposed to just deal with it, and
Facts.
that's not the case. Like we should be able to express how we feel and be emotional, and it's okay to shed a tear or two, or
hmm
it's okay to just be vulnerable and just it is what it is. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
You feel me?
Like,
We all human at the end of the day, and there's
yeah,
no reason why we shouldn't be able to be human.
yeah. We make mistakes, but it's nothing better than what they say. If you fall on your back, you're gonna get up, because that's the only place you're looking is up. So,
Exactly.
yeah. So, ladies, take that time to talk to whoever male in your whatever male figures you have in your family,
And vice
and,
versa too. Like even though it's
vice
men mental
versa.
health month, bro, men check your John out too. Check your moms
Yeah,
out. Make sure they
yeah,
doing
check.
good as
Yeah,
well.
because these are people
You
in your
feel
these are
me?
people in your life who play a role, who they're a reflection of you. So
Exactly.
if they're doing good, you're doing good. You understand
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? So check, like you said, completely right. Check on them, men. Check on the people in your life. On their mental health.
Yup.
You understand what I'm saying? Because that's you all work as one, and that's a powerful thing. So listen, man, the game is coming up later. You know what I mean? I'm about to cut up. I'm gonna try to cut up this watermelon. I might let it sit
I'm about
outside
to
for
say
another day.
I just cut
I
up a
saw you cutting
little
up
bit
a
of
water. I saw
fruit.
you cutting it
Yeah.
up. You
I had cut up
understand
some
me?
watermelon. I like cause sometimes when I like do my overnight job, I don't like to eat too heavy. So what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
do is I take like a little fruit bowl. I cut up
Little
some
juice or something.
apples, some oranges,
Yeah.
watermelon. Take a couple of waters, and just rock out like that.
Get it in. Get
Because
it
that
in.
should give me a nice little energy boost, and that's all I really be needing for real.
Facts. But listen,
Facts.
man, you know how we do, man. We're gonna try to do this again later on in the week or something like that.
Absolutely,
Some love.
absolutely.
All right. So everybody
It's
have a
been
good night.
good. You feel me?
Listen, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit the notification button. Make sure you hit the like button too. Hit that bell so
Absolutely,
you know anytime we come on, you guys will be notified. All right. And like I
it's a
said
fact.
before, I want y'all to look forward to the new location we're gonna be at. Conversations are gonna be crazy. Everything gonna be crazy. So I just want y'all just to get subscribed and share the channel to your peoples. All right.
That's why I can't wait
Yeah.
to get back up there so I can check that
Oh
joint
yeah.
out and
Yeah.
be up in there
Finish it.
live. You feel me?
Official
Until
tissue
next
bit.
time, Mont.
Till next time, y'all. Peace out.
Peace.
No doubt.